This is St Helens Duver on the edge of Bembridge Harbour in the east of the Isle of Wight. It's a popular destination with both local people and holidaymakers. It's a lovely place to take an easy stroll, and nearby at Nodes Point there are some beaches, and at low tide all the rock pools are exposed. The Duver is a promontory of sand and shingle. It would naturally move and grow with tidal currents and winds, but these days is much more stable due to a concrete wall that was first constructed back in the 19th century. Coastal landscapes are naturally dynamic, and St Helens Duver is no exception. Take a look at this map dated 1570. At that time, the Duver was actually connected to the south side of the estuary. And then in 1630 there was a monumental storm. It moved so much sand and shingle that the river exit was blocked off, and from then on the river exited the harbour from the south side of the Duver, and it's been developing like that ever since. So over the years the Duver has become constrained and less mobile. However, it still retains some of the features of an active dune system with bare sand and marram grass. An interesting part of the Duver's history is that in 1882 a 9-hole golf course was established, and some of the features are still here, like this bunker. The Victorian clubhouse still exists, and it's now run as a National Trust holiday cottage. When the club was established in Victorian times, it was for men only. It was quite a small course at only 9 holes, but nonetheless attracted royal patronage. There were also some quite famous guests who came here, like David Niven. He found some of the members somewhat stuffy, so one day, for a practical joke, he decided to push a cushion down the chimney, and that smoked the whole lot of them out. In these days of global warming and rising sea levels, living and working on the coast can be a challenge. The reaction is often to put up barriers to stop the sea getting in, but in some cases we can do exactly the opposite and actually use natural processes to help us. This bank used to have a line of wooden revetment boards holding the bank up, but the waves used to erode behind those boards and at the base. We decided to take them away, and by doing so, the waves had naturally built up the beach level again, and salt-tolerant plants have been able to establish on the sand and gravel, further helping to stabilise the beach and the bank. Sea levels and salt water have an influence on the vegetation types of the Duver as well. In places where there are hollows in the ground, salt water seeps through from the sea and the vegetation changes. You can see a really sharp change from where the thrift is growing, and then we're into the salt marsh grass, the dark grass in this hollow. Despite some of the changes that are happening to vegetation through saltwater seepage and sea levels, the Duver remains a really important place for dune grassland. In the spring there's a wonderful display of thrift. In some of the shorter grass areas, there's a whole range of rare plants, including some unusual clovers. And then, in the autumn, there's a fantastic display of autumn squill. Where sand is exposed and more mobile, as it would have been before the sea wall was built, this provides a really important habitat for a whole range of rare burrowing insects. One of these is called the bee wolf, and it catches other insects and carries them back to its burrow to feed to its young grubs. In areas of longer grass in the summer, these are alive with bush crickets and grasshoppers. There's also one of our most colourful spiders, called the wasp spider. This makes a beautifully constructed web, and it lies in wait, waiting for its prey. It's a tricky job managing the range of wildlife on a small place like St Helens Duver. Much of the wildlife here has adapted to changing conditions, where sand and gravel is shifting and moving by natural processes. This no longer happens since the sea wall was built in the 19th century. And in places, scrub and trees have started to grow up and cover the areas of dune grassland. In the winter, we cut some of these back to allow the plants, insects and flowers to thrive again. Small places like this are also under pressure from people, whether it's the passage of many feet or dog mess left, which enriches the ground and causes the decline of many of the rare plants that grow here. So you can do your bit to help us by keeping to main paths and also picking up after your dog. Please help us look after this fascinating, changing place for the future.